ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां व्यासशंकरमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So I welcome you all back to the Kathopanishad Bhashyam class. So before the break, we started to look at Kathopanishad as a text in which the importance of Brahma Vidya is again emphasized. Also, the Karma Upasanam also is being emphasized. So there are two topics being discussed. And Karma Upasanam is being prescribed mainly because one needs to know what is Karma. Karma and Upasanam both are required for Brahma Jnana. One cannot achieve Brahma Jnanam, one cannot achieve Moksham without having done Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga. So these both are the instruments, sadhanam. So sadhanam and sadhyam. Sadhyam is the ultimately achievable goal of freedom or taking ownership of one's own true nature as Brahman. That's what we and we saw the Upanishad. Sorry?
Is it in line with Upadesh Shastri?
It is not really. That's the Upadesh Shastri is more. It is purely actually to do with Brahma Jnana. This one, it talks about a little bit of karma kanda upasana because Nachiketa is a very young person. So naturally, when somebody wants to get into something, the method prescribed is that you first do this, or a solution is offered first. Like whenever we go to anybody's or go to Acharya or Kanchi Matam or any Sringeri Matam or any of the Matams, if you say, sir, I want to achieve Brahma Jnanam, then they look at you and then they say, oh, they ask you a few questions and then say, see, you first do this. So you continue to do this for some time and then after some time we'll see. So they send you back not with the intention of not teaching you. They send you back with the intention that you will practice that first and get ready for Brahma Jnana. So here also the Nachiketa, he's a young boy. He doesn't even know what his karma kanda is. He doesn't know. But he has got some inclination about something right, something wrong. He has got that inclination. Because he's seen his father performing rituals, puja, etc., he has naturally got some samskaras. He has knows that. And the discussion between Nachiketan and Yamadharmaraja is of nature of where Yama actually tries to convince him to leave the thought of getting Brahma Vidya. So one always persuades a person to follow this. See, if anybody comes and starts asking, say, a teacher, I want to know Brahma Vidya, then you do not directly teach Upanishads, even this class also, unless a person is prepared, unless a person has already undergone some amount of learning before with a teacher for a lengthy period of time, then only this will make sense. Otherwise, if somebody comes to the class, it will be interesting to learn that they are able to follow, but it will not get registered because it will not, the information will not go properly there. That is why the Upanishad Sahasri is more like a Nitidhyastam text. So that actually text is already the person understood the Brahma Vidya, and the person wants to dwell upon the true nature of one's own self for removing habitual errors that is prescribed. So it is actually a higher text for the mumukshus. And it is a saram of all the Upanishads. There also the author presents the key essence from various Upanishads so that one doesn't forget what has been learned before. So there is Mundaka Upanishad, there is Katha Upanishad, there is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. All Upanishads are quoted from there. So mantras are also quoted from there also. But we need to study this systematically so that when we revisit that topic or when we study that also, it makes it very, very clear. So here, so the Karma Kanda or the method of ritual is prescribed here because the whole scenario is presented here as a ritual. The Vishwajit Yajna, or the one which is, the Virat Vidya, Virat Yajna being performed by the father is of a very, very, very big nature. It is something not everybody can do, not anybody can do also. One needs to be having a lot of wealth, needs to have a lot of commitment. One should be aspiring to give away everything in life. So one must not be looking at to say, I'll hold on to this, I'll hold on to this, because you want to leave everything and go. And you are the person who is performing yajna wants to go to higher lokas for going to Indra Loka or Shiva Lokam or some loka which is actually Punya Loka. So this yajna is performed for that. Right? Swargaloka Prapti. So we look at the first one. See the first page on page number 4. Loka Devi Brahma Yajna. Correct. Yugasti Vishayaya Vidyaya Dutiyena Varena Praptamanaya. Swargaloka Phala Prapti Hetutvena. Correct. So Swargaloka Phala Prapti for that only, and to avoid the Garbhavasa Janma Jaradi Upadrava Vindasya. So to avoid the pain of going through the Janma, again staying in Garbhavasa for 9 months, again coming out and then going through all the difficulties, which is of the nature of Upadrava. So Upadrava means like it's actually a tollai. Okay. So not only in this, you may be born in another loka also. So not only in this loka, you can be born another loka in some other form. So to avoid that, this is prescribed. I mean, this particular knowledge is prescribed, right? So we saw this. So this Vargaloka here, immortality is being sought by this person. Now this father who is doing the ritual for. It's called the Virat Vidya, Savana Brahma Upasanam. Right? We saw this. Then there is an argument raised also in the Upanishad that the Upanishad Shabd itself can be misleading because Upanishad itself means Brahma Vidya and the remover of ignorance. So the Upanishad Shabd should be used only in context with the revealing of the nature of the Upanishad words, the text. It must not be used or must not be said that I am teaching Upanishad or I am learning Upanishad. So there was not an argument, there was just a thought said that when some teacher will be saying that I am teaching Upanishad, the chanting. So can chanting be taken as Upanishad, or the word Upanishad can be added to chanting? And these are doshaha, or this is a defect in that thought. Because in reality, the student is not learning anything by chanting. The teacher also is just reciting the mantras. If the teacher is reciting the mantras without himself or herself knowing the meaning of the mantras, then it is not called Brahma Vidya. It is still called Karma Kanda only, because you are doing some chanting, some punyam is there. So the author clarified here that evam nesha doshaha. So there is not a defect in that thinking, but one must understand that this particular uh, act of saying Upanishad is not going to remove the ignorance. Right? So one has to, so Grantha Matre Asambhavat Vidyayam Cha Asambhavat. So you see that. So just by studying the Grantha, so by mechanically studying mantra, etc., one cannot achieve Brahma Jnanam, correct? So mere chanting, reading is not possible, correct? So Grantha Matre Asambhavat Vidyayam Cha Sambhavat. So one must read or chant also. Along with that, one must approach a guru or a teacher for understanding the meaning of those words also. So thereby he says there is nothing wrong in somebody saying I'm teaching Upanishad, but the person should know that unless I know the meaning of the word Brahman, I know the words of the Upanishad being unfolded, then that particular exercise will be only a mechanical exercise. So correct. So that was what we saw here. Just the example you gave was Ayurveda Ghritam Ityadi Vathe. That means what says here that so Ghritam says ghee. So if somebody says somebody is eating ghee. So in olden days, even today also, ghee is supposed to be good for the brain, even though ghee is called cholesterol. So little amount of ghee is nothing wrong with that. So because the food is called anashuddhi. So in the olden days also, you cannot eat any food on the table or anywhere is served without the ghee being served. So you'll always wait. So they'll first serve all the food on the top side. Then the rice will come. Then they will actually offer ghee. Then only you're supposed to do parashisham and eat. Correct. So the ghee is supposed to be anashuddhi, or it purifies the food which is being eaten. So that is why the Ghritam example is given here. So it says that the ghee, somebody is taking the ghee, Ayurvedic Ghritam, she enjoys a long lifespan. That is what is said, correct? However, it does not mean that ghee itself is longevity. So ghee is not longevity, but the consumption of the ghee it gives longevity. So Upanishad Shabdaha Matrena Brahmagyanam Nasti. Okay, Brahmagyanam is not possible. But if you use the Upanishad word along with the consumption of the Upanishad, so consumption of the ghee will actually increase the longevity, correct? So if you just say ghee is there, so I'm consuming ghee or I'm using this without knowing why it is, you would not get the benefit. The example is just given to clarify the importance of Brahma Vidya. That's what is said here. So up to this we saw in the previous class. Right. So Grantasyapi Tadartyena Tachabdat Kopapatade Ayurve Ghritam Ityadi Vathe. So now we'll go to page number 5. So here the Anubandha Chatushtayam is being enforced or being emphasized. Anubandha Chatushtayam, that means the subject matter, Vishayaha, Prayojanam, Sambandha and Adhikaritvam. So subject matter, connection, benefit, and the Adhikari. So four called Chatushtayam, Anubandha Chatushtayam. So there are fourfold things are being mentioned here as to why the Upanishad is important. So we'll just go through the Bhashyam. I'll explain, I'll read that one, then we'll go through the meaning of that. Okay. So Tasmat Vidyaya Mukyaya Vrittya Upanishad Shabdaha. Tasmat Vidyaya Mukyaya Vrittya Upanishad Shabdaha Vartate Grantetu Bhaktya Iti. So therefore, Tasmat therefore, Vidyaya Mukyaya. So Vidya means knowledge, and Mukyaya means the primary meaning or the primary importance of this knowledge is Pritya, conveyed. Pritya means conveyed, and it is conveyed through the Upanishad Shabdaha. Upanishad Shabdaha is Upanishad Shabdaha. Then Vartate Grante tu Bhaktya iti. So Grantaha means text here, and by implication, Vartate Grantate tu means by implication, the secondary sense of the Upanishad is revealed. So the primary purpose of the Upanishad is revealed with the words of the Upanishad. Along with that, the secondary sense or by implication or implied meaning of the Upanishad also is given in this example here. So tasmad vidyaya mukyaya vritya Upanishad shabdaha vartate grantetu bhaktya iti. So bhaktya means the secondary sentence, secondary or the importance of this Upanishad is being given as a secondary meaning also, secondary sense. Then evam Upanishad shabdaha nirvachanam eva vishishto adhikari vidyaya muktaha. So this Upanishad shabdaha nirvachanam eva. So we come to know. So it is we have come to know, we have understood by listening to people. So the Upanishad Shabdam is actually, see, the text itself is revealed through the Bhagavan to the Rishis. So in the olden days, there was no text, nothing was written there. It was all orally communicated through the sound waves and the thought waves. So the thoughts were transmitted to the Rishis, and Rishis later on wrote all this text, etc., for easy understanding. So that's why it says here, we come to know. So we have come to know because we heard about it, that this particular Upanishad or this Upanishad Shabdaha, so evam Upanishad Shabdaha means this, thus by deriving the meaning of the word Upanishad, which you saw before, right? So you must connect this Upanishad meaning to the previous one what we saw in the previous section there. We come to know Nirvachaname eva Vishishto Adhikari. So Vishishta Adhikari means what? A qualified Adhikari, a special candidate. So Adhikari itself means a person who is eligible to get Brahmagyan. Adhikari itself means a person who is eligible or who is qualified. But here called Vishishto Adhikari. So Vishishta means what? Somebody special. So there has to be some special qualification for someone to study the Upanishad. So here the author, the Adi Shankara, makes a distinction between an ordinary Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. See, there are three types of Adhikari. Adam Adhikari, the one who is of the lowest order, who is not interested in anything. It's called Adam Adhikari. Then there is somebody called Madhyam Adhikari. So somebody is in the middle. A person who is actually started the journey, but is still consistently in the same process. So steady process. So he has not progressed to a level of higher knowledge. So there could be many scenarios. It could be because of commitment. It could be because of interest. It could be because of conflicting priorities, or Purushartha Nishchaya is not there clear, or the Shraddha is not there, Astikya Buddhi is not there. So it could be many things which could be a reason for a person to be at the Madhyam Adhikari level for a lengthy period of time. So they are floating people, floating. You know what is floating? They come and go. That is, they'll come 2-3 classes. They'll come. They'll attend some 3-4 months. Then they'll disappear for 6 months. Then again they'll come. Another time they'll start. So the knowledge is not consistent. Because of that, the continuity is not there. So the grasping power is not retained because of the discontinuity in the pursuit of knowledge. So they are called Madhyam Adhikari. So, but here it talks about what Vishishta Adhikari means, a person who is a qualified adhikari, special candidate. So the Upanishad Shabdaha, I mean this particular Upanishad or any Upanishad, we will come to know only by a person who is eligible, who is actually qualified by a special qualification. So that is why Upanishad is not taught to everybody else. It is not because Upanishad is something very complicated. It is easy, but a particular disposition of mind is required. So one must be interested in that particular thing. One must be interested to know what is being revealed in the Upanishad, and one must be systematic, religious, and committed to the pursuit of knowledge. So such a person is described here. Right? So Vishishto Adhikari Vidyayam Muktaha. So this is said to be Brahma Vidya. So Vidyayam Mukta means not. So for such a person, this Brahma Vidya is being said as the Upanishad. Vishayascha Vishishta Uktaha Vidyayam Parabrahma Pratyagatma Bhutam. So here he explains that this subject matter, Vishayascha, Vishishta, means distinctive. So this subject matter revealed in the Upanishad is distinctive and separate from something else. It is, Upanishad does not reveal Karma Kanda, it doesn't reveal or does not give emphasis to Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda. It gives, even though Upanishad contains Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda and Jnana Kanda, this particular section, Brahma Vidya, deals only with Atma Vidya. It does not give emphasis for people pursuing Karma Kanda. It does not give emphasis of pursuing, Upasana Kanda. So one has to do that. So unless one has done those things systematically of lengthy period of time, unless one has done being meditative and contemplative, only for such a person it is called Vishishtadhikari. Then only the person can actually reveal, understand the Upanishad. Right? So Vishayascha Vishishta Uktaha Vidyayam. Vidyaya means Brahma Vidya. So whenever I say Vidyaya, it talks about Brahma Vidya, which is of the nature of Param Brahma. So this is of the nature of Param Brahma. And Pratyagatma Bhutam. So Pratyagatma means innermost. So innermost self of everything is revealed in this Upanishad. So Upanishadha, the word Upanishadha is revealed as Nirvachanameva, for whom Vishishtadhikari Vidyaya Muktaha. So for such a person, this Upanishad is being revealed, or the words are being used. And Vishayascha Vishishta Uktaha means the subject matter also, not only the adhikaris needs to be special, the subject matter also revealed is different, is distinct, it is separate, always not the same thing. It's always distinct means the Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya is distinct from Apara Vidya, some other Vidyas, correct? It doesn't talk about other things. The Jyotisham is not required. Niruktam grammar is not required. Grammar is required to understand to some extent. But nobody is actually really going to know that, oh, what does this particular word mean? Is it, which Vibhakti, is it, which, all the different people ask, because you have to understand the Saram. The Saram has to be understood. Once you understand the essence of it, then the other things are not required to be given emphasis. But to come to that, you should have done some amount of shrama. Some amount of, Sanskrit is required to read, at least understand, interpret, or write some words. You need to do that. So that is why all this qualification which is there is gathered in the beginning of the study period. So when you come to the Vishishtadhikari stage, then you do only fine tuning. You do not relearn everything. Right? So you already done a lot of work already before, and those work is not wasted. So you're just enhancing, clarifying, fine tuning, and removing the habitual errors. That's what is mentioned here. That's why the Vishishtadhikari is mentioned here, specifically by Adi Shankara here. So Vishayascha Vishishta Uktaha Vidyaya Parabrahma Pratyagatma Bhutam. So Pratyagatma means the innermost, and Bhutam means the essence, or the one which is living inside everything else, called Pratyagatma Bhutam. So this is called the subject matter Vishayaha. So Vishayaha is revealed in this first section. Then second, the prayojanam is being discussed here. So prayojanam chasya Upanishadaha atyantiki samsara nivrittihi brahma prapti lakshana. So prayojanam. So for anything there has to be a prayojanam. So one will ask, well, if I study this particular text or particular thing, what I'm going to get? You will say that if you study this, you will get Brahmajnana. You will know yourself better. One, you will be able to understand the fallacy of a thinking, the fallacy of the universe being, which you think is Satyam, is being negated, is being revealed very clearly. So prayojanam chasya Upanishadaha. So the benefit of the Upanishad. Atyantiki means attainment of. Atyantiki means what? Attainment of. What do you attain? What do you attain? Samsara nivrittihi. So the Upanishad, the benefit of studying the Upanishad is for samsara nivrittihi. Means samsara means the endless cycle of birth and death is called samsara. So freedom from samsara nivrittihi, thereby you attain Brahma Prapti Lakshanam. So because samsara nivritti is there and you attain this particular benefit of freeing from samsara, automatically you will attain Brahma Prapti. So you do not need to do anything. You cannot say, oh, I am free from samsara now I'll have to get hold of Brahma Prapti. No, because it is like, on a very, very cloudy day, you want to see the sun. You say that, there's no sun there, I want to see the sun. So initially what is said there? Okay, you keep looking and you see the sun. Right? But
here is information from Vic.
This is also another problem. Adhika Prasangi Maya, all this. So when you look at the naked eye, the sun cannot be seen. Like today in Sydney or any place, you cannot. It's very cloudy, and I heard even the cricket commentator saying there is no sun at all. So I'm waiting for sun to come. Actually, the sun is the cloud itself. You can see because sun being there. The cloud itself is not visible to you. See, there's no light. Can there be a cloud? There cannot be a cloud. So our eyes are cloudy because we do not see the truth beyond what we see. So the entire world also is, we see as a cloud. It is a cloudy vision of the whole thing. So when the Mithyatvam of the universe is being revealed with the Upanishad, or the samsara nivritti is being revealed to you, and you're free from that, automatically you attain Brahma Prapti. Just as the cloud passes away and then the sun you see, the sun did not do anything. It was always there. Only thing is the cloud, it passed. Due to its movement of the cloud, it just moved from one place to another place. The sun was visible, again the sun is not visible. So this process of seeing things and not seeing things is a continuous process. It happens. But later on, once the knowledge is established firmly, even though the cloud is there or not, cloud is not there, the sun is always there for you. Correct? That's what it says here. Samsara nivrittihi Brahma Prapti Lakshana. So prayojanam chasya Upanishadaha atyantiki samsara nivrittihi Brahma Prapti Lakshana. So prayojanam is benefit is given in this one. Then sambandhascha evam bhuta prayojana uktaha. So the connection between what is said before the previous Upanishad words and this is revealed in the entire section called prayojananena uktaha. So the prayojanam word is explained here. Okay. The connection. So how the Upanishad is connected with Brahma Vidya, how the Upanishad reveals, remove samsara nivritti, and how the Upanishad is beneficial for the person who is Vishishta Adhikari, all the connection, the subject matter which is Vishishta Vishayascha Uktaha is being revealed in this particular section. Okay. Then Ataha Ato Yatokta Adhika Yata Ukta Adhikari Vishaya Prayojana Sambandhayaha Vidyayaha Karatala Astamalakavat Prakashkatvena Vishishtadhikari Vishaya Prayojanam Sambandha Eta Ballayo Bhavanti Ityataha Ta Yatha Pratibhanam Yachakshame Tatra Akyayika Vidya Stityartaha. So it's a big text, but I'll read that. So Atha means therefore. So Yata Uktaha Adhikari. So as said before, the Adhikari or the one who is qualified or Vishisht Adhikari, Vishaya Prayojana Sambandhayaha means for the student, the benefit of the study has been revealed. How Vidyayaha Karatala. So here Hastamalaka has been mentioned here. So Hastamalaka Gitam, I think I taught you before. I don't know whether, I think I took a class for Hastamalaka before in the fundamental class or the Vedanta class. So I'm taking actually now. So Hastamalaka is also one of the acharyas. So Karatala means, Hastam means the palm and Amalakam means the gooseberry or Nellikai, you can say. So the person, one can say why only Hastamalakam, only Amalakam. One can say why can't Pushnikai or pumpkin or something. Because the pumpkin is something which you cannot hold on the hand and you cannot also reveal it. It will be revealed, you'll know. You can't hold it. Plus the Nellikai can be held on to the hand without doing anything. So so it's easily available and can be easily graspable, correct? That's why the example is given Hastamalaka. The given example was this particular student called Hastamalaka, which is the name given by the Acharya, was a student who was waiting for the Guru to come. He already had Brahma Jnana. He was not willing to speak to anybody, including his father and mother, or to the world also, because he thought that all these people are not interested or they are in other worlds or other things. So sometimes the student waits for a particular thing to happen. And the Guru comes, the student becomes connected to the Guru. So it is something which is not the person doing automatically. It just happens because of pura connections or one's own prayatna. So there are a lot of people who say, I'm searching for a Guru. So they say, sometimes when I talk to them, says, I'm still searching for a Guru. So first of all, you should know what you're searching for. See, unless you know what you're searching for, then only you'll be able to quantify and qualify whatever teachers require. If you yourself do not know how to quantify and qualify what it is, and you say I'm searching for something, if you're searching for Laukika Visheha, there are a lot of gurus are there. But if you're studying for Brahma Vidya, handful of gurus will be there to teach you. And those are difficult, rare to find it. They will all be they are very secretive, they don't publicize, they don't advertise, they just go on doing the job. So such gurus difficult to find. Whereas the people who are, publicist people, like they like to publicize other Vidya, they are more popular. So people go and approach them. But they are not actually called Sadguru, they are called Sad Guru also. Sometimes you go to them and then you become Sadguru, then become Sad Guru also, it can be a problem. So very important. Sad means truth and Guru means the one who gives true Brahma Jnana is called Sadguru. Not just because some, one would like to call or one could, it's not the way. So it is said here that why it is said because Vidyayaha Karatala Nya Hastamalakavat. Just as Hastamalaka had knowledge in his hand, right? So Prakashakatvena, so it is revealed. So this knowledge is revealed to the person who is as sharp as Hastamalaka. or who wants to be as sharp as Hastamalaka. Because Hastamalaka is actually a very sharp person. He doesn't need a lot of things. He just asks only one question. Who are you? Where do you come from? Where are you going? He has a quick question asked. He said, I'm neither this, I'm neither this, I'm neither that, I'm neither that. I never come from anywhere, I'm not going anywhere. So to answer to Acharya's question, how much of knowledge the person should already have and to be confident. That's why he says here, Prakashakatvena is revealed just as Hastamalaka, knowledge revealed in front of the Guru, and he was a Vishishtadhikari. See the one? So he was a Vishishtadhikari, Vishaya Prayojana Sambandha. So the benefit and the connection is revealed through the example of the Hastamalakacharya. And Hastamalakacharya is a special adhikari, Vishishtadhikari, which is quoted here for all of us to be like that. Correct. Then, Yeta Vallayo Bhavanti Ityataha. So, Vallayo means Vallis. I told you the 6 Vallis are there. So, 6 Vallis, 6 stanzas are there. And they have the same Anubandha Chatushtayam. So, the 6 Vallis which are there, they have the same Anubandha Chatushtayam. Yatha Pratibhanam. So, Pratibhanam, Bhanam means knowledge. And Pratibhanam means whatever knowledge I have. So, Pratibhanam, whatever knowledge I have. Ya Chakshamahe. So, it is being presented here. Or, is the Acharya is saying here what? That whatever knowledge I have about this particular topic, about the Upanishad, about Anubandha Chatushtayam, Vishishtadhikari, Vishayam, Prayojanam, Sambandha, all of these things are being said here. Pratibhanam Ya Chakshamahe means, Mahe means me, the commentary is present. Ya Chakshit means commentary or being spoken. The commentary is presented by me. Or we can venture into this text. Tatra Akyayika Vidya Stutyartaha. So their story, Akyayika means what? A story. So a story is being presented to illustrate the glorification of the Brahma Vidya. So Vidya Stutihi iti artaha. Stutihi means what? Praise. Correct. And Vidya talks about Brahma Vidya. So Tatra Akyayika Vidya Stuti Artaha. So now if you read this, you'll understand. Atho Yatokta Adhikari Vishaya Prayojana Sambandhayaha Vidyayaha Karatala Nyasta Malakavat Prakashakatvena Vishishtadhikari Vishaya Prayojana Sambandha Yeta Vallayo Bhavanti Ityataha Ta Tatha Pratibhanam Ya Chakshamahe Tatra Akyayika Vidya Sutyartaha. Is it clear? You got all the words right? Meaning. So if you want, I can repeat this. So, Yata Ukta Adhikari Vishaya Prayojana Sambandhaya. So the benefit of the student, the benefit of the study is being presented here. And the example quoted here is this Brahma Vidyayaha is equivalent to the knowledge possessed by Hastamalakam. So Hastamalakacharya, just as he got information, he got the benefit. The same, the qualification of the Uttam Adhikari is required, or one has to attain the qualification, or the Anubandha Chatushtayam is required for getting the benefit of the study of the Upanishad. So Vishaya Prayojana Sambandha. So Vishayam and Prayojanam, subject and the benefit. Correct. Is being connected. Sambandham is being said here. How it is said here? Yeta Vallayo Bhavanti. So the stanzas or the next subsequent 6 vallis are being presented with the same view. So in each of them, the qualifications mentioned, the aspects are mentioned, the adhikaris we talked about, the importance of Brahma Vidya is talked about, the connection is talked about, the benefits talked about. Correct?
What is Vyachakshmahe?
See, Vyachaksha Mahe means me, and Vyachakshita means commentary or speak, or I am presenting. So the commentary I am presenting, or we are going to venture. So Vyachaksha Mahe, Vyachaksha means speaking or presenting a commentary. So a commentary is being presented by me, and with that subject context in this matter, we will venture into what? Into Akhyayika Vidya. So Akhyayika means what? A story. So we are now going to venture into a story. So the story is being presented here. Vidya, Stuti Ityartaha. Stuti means what? Present or the praise. Stuti means praise. The Brahma Vidya is praised through a story here. That is what is said here so far. Have you got all the meanings for this words? Well, you got all the words meanings? Well, you got all the words meanings?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Pratamodhyayaha Pratama Valli. So first Adhyayaha Pratam Valli. Okay. Ushan Haivai Vajashrabasaha Sarva Vedasam Dadhau. Ushan Havai Vajashrabasaha Sarva Vedasam Dadhau. Tasya Ha Nachiketa Namaputra Asa. Ushan Havai Vajashrabasaha Sarva Vedasam Dadhau. Tasya Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. So I'll first give the word by word meaning, then we'll go to the Bhashyam later on. So the story starts here with a person called Vajashravasaha. So Vajashravasaha is the person who is the ritual. The person who is the ritual is called here, the name of the person is called Vajashravasaha. And Nachiketa is the Putra. So Nachiketa is the son of this Vajashravasaha. So Ushan means the one who desires. Ushan means the one who desires. Then the word ha and vai, both these words indicates an event in the Upanishad, an happening in the Upanishad. So an event or happening in the Upanishad is being mentioned. The word ha and vai both indicates an event which is mentioned in the Upanishad, and it starts with Vajashravasaha. So it's called Yajamana. So Vajashravasaha is the name of the person who is doing the yajna. And he is doing this Mahayajna, very, very big yajna, which is of the nature of some giving away all of the wealth. All of the things has to be given away. So Sarva Vedasam. So Sarva means all, Vedasam means wealth. So Sarva Vedasam Dadhau, give away, gave away. So Dadhau means gave actually, not Dadhau means gave away. So because a story being presented here. So there was a person called Vajashravasaha, Ushan Havai, the one who desired, or this Vajashravasaha desired to go to heaven or to achieve some special benefit. For that, he donated or he gave Dadhau Sarva Vedasam. So he donated or he gave away all his wealth. So sarvam indicates all, not keeping something for you or something which you like, and then the rest of them you give. Like we always have a habit of not giving away any good things. We give away all this thing only what is not required. So somebody asks, do you want to give this? No, I think I'll use it sometime. For 2 years, if you don't use it, you're never going to use it. Even if you use for 1 year also, you're not going to use it again, correct? See that the reality is if you're not going to use it for 1 year, then very possibility that you may not be using it because you're not going to be the same person again. Your requirements change. You may need more things, so you can give it away. So instead of keeping it for 5-6 years, it becomes very old. Nobody wants to wear it. Nobody wants to use it. Then you give it away. These are no use. So that's what is illustrated here also. We'll see this. So Ushan Havai Vajasravasaha Sarva Vedasam Dadhau Tasya Ha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asaha. So there was a person or there was a putra for this Vajasravasaha who was called Nachiketa Nama Putra Asaha. So he had, Asa means had. So he had a putra called Nachiketa. So there was a person who was a rishi, who was a jnani or a person, wise person, who was doing yajna, and he was giving away all his wealth. And he had a putra, son called Nachiketa. This is what is said in this. So if you look at the Bhashyam says, Ushan Vajasravasaha Havai Vishwajita Yogena Iche Ije Iti Sheshaha. So Vishwajit Yajna. So this particular person, Yajamana, he is doing Yajna for Vishwajit, or Vishwajitaha means what? Conquering the world. So Vishwajit is supposed to be somebody who is actually the lord of all the universe. Vishwajit. Right? So Vishwajit Yogena Ije Iti Sheshaha. So he had a desire to conquer the universe, to be the lord of the entire universe. And for that he was doing Vishwajit Yajna. So he is called Ushan Vajasravasaha Havai. So Havai means this particular person is mentioned in the Upanishad, or event in the Upanishad is mentioned as Ushan, the one who desired. His name is called Vajasravasaha, and he was responsible, or he was trying to get Vishwajit Yajna going. So he was performing Yajna. Right? So Tasmin Krato. So he was doing this, Tasmin Krato. Sarva Vedasam Dadho. So he was giving all the wealth in the process of giving the Yajna. So the Yajna is already started. So the story is already started saying that this person was doing Yajna. So it's not that he's going to start the Yajna. The story says that this person is already had a son, and he had already organized for this Yajna, and he has made ready everything ready already. So he's just performing the Yajna now, and the story starts with this section. So Tatsyaha Nachiketaha Nama Putra Asa. So he had a person called, a son called Nachiketa. So what was he deserving? Kit Ichyamaha. He was aspiring for Vishwajitaha. Right? So Kit Ichyamaha means what? What was Icha? Then he gives the meaning of the word Ushan. So the Ushan means, I gave you the meaning as desiring, correct? Then Kamaya Manam. Kamaya Manaha means what? A person, Kamaha means desire, correct? Kamaya Manaha means what? The person who is desirous is called Kamaya Manaha. So Ushan means desire or desirous, and Kamaya Manaha is an adjective for the word Ushan. So it's both same, but it gives a different word, saying that the one who is desirous or the one who really wants to pursue this, it's called Kamaya Manaha. And so her, va, so indication event, iti, Vrittartha. So Vrittartha means the event. Smaranartho Nipatho. So Smaranartho means what? Remembering. So the Upanishad remembers a story. The Upanishad remembers a story about a person who was called Vajasvasaha, and he had a son called Nachiketa. He was doing Vishwajit Yoga for achieving the worldly benefits. And Nipatau means long before. So long ago. So Nipatau means yes, long ago. So there was long ago, there was a rishi, something like this. Okay. Then, so Ushan Kamayamana Hava iti Vrittartha means event. Smaranarthau means remembering. Nipatau, long before. So Upanishad remembers about an event happening in the past about a person called Vajasvasaha. He was doing Vishwati Yajna. He had a son called Nachiketa, and he was doing Sarva Vedasa Vedasam Dadhav. He was giving all the wealth to this Brahmanas and priests, etc. And he had only a desire for conquering the world, and this is the only motive for doing this. So different people do different yajna for this. If you do Ganesh, if you know somebody say Ganapati Home, I should do. What do you do Ganapati Home for? Vigdam. Shanti Home you do for removing some problems. Satyanarayana Puja you do for what? For getting more benefit for you and the family. Right? All the people who do all the Kamya Karmas, see, I'm not discouraging, please do. See, don't quote me saying that you should not do this. All the people who do Kamya Karmas, they always have some desire in mind. A person who does not do Kamya Karma doesn't have desire in mind because he doesn't want anything to be done in this Karma. So thereby he doesn't do any special Karmas. Whereas any person who does special Karma, like inviting people, inviting this, doing this, then there is a benefit being sought. So here also this Rishi also is a Karmakandi. Karmakandi means what? He is interested in a particular desire, not in Brahmagyan. Right? Then Vajamannam tad dhanati nimittam shravo yasho yasya sa vajashrava rudito va. So Vajam means food. So Vajamannam means the food which is tad dhanadi. So the food which is being donated, correct? Or free distribution of food. See, Annam dhanati means what? The food, so there was a free distribution of food. So in the olden days, the food, Annadhanam is supposed to be one of the most sacred of everything. You can give money to everybody. You can give any money to Brahmana. You can give him, so many much money you give. You always have a desire that if $100 more, I would have been very happy about it. Maybe I should ask $100 more. Or Bata 3 Kuturpar. It is possible, right? Whereas in case of Annam, Dhanam, you call 10 Brahmanas or 15 Brahmanas or anybody you want to invite, you just tell to them, eat whatever you want. How much ever you want, you can eat. He may sit for what? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. He cannot sit for more than that. How much you'll eat? You'll eat only to the extent of what his stomach can allow and only what he can digest. So thereby, he was always saying that enough. And he will say that I just can't eat anymore. Very, very thank you. Please. Whereas you give any amount of other things to him, the person will not be happy. That's why he says here that Vajamannam tad andam tad dhanati nimittam. He became Shravo. So means this person became famous because of what? This Vajashravasaha was a very famous person in the locality. See, everybody knew this person. So when somebody says, I'm going to do this yajna, everybody will go to the person. Right? If we do some yajna and nobody calls us, supposing you don't give anything to anybody at all. Right? And you call somebody and you exactly count only this much food is there. Only one person can eat. Not even one person can eat. You see that the pathale and pasi pidam. See, some people, when you go, they will prepare so much little of food, right? When you see that food itself they're eating, you think this is enough? So when you look at that, you feel pasi ape. So you do not go there again. But here, this person was giving food like, said, come eat whatever you want. So annam was being distributed free for everybody. He was a rich person. He was a rich rishi and he had a lot of wealth, etc. He was giving away. So he became very famous. So Vajamannam tad dhanati nimittam. Nimittam means what reason why? Nimitta karanam, you can say. Shravo yasho yasya. So he became famous. So Shravaha, Shravo means famous. And Yashaha, Yasho means Kirti. So Kirti and fame. He became famous. He became very, very known in the locality. Yasya sa Vajashrava Ruditova. So this was Vajashrava. So he's not somebody who is just an ordinary person. So when we read Upanishad, sometimes say, oh, this person wants this loka. He must be a crazy person. No, he was actually a very, very committed person, and he was willing to give away everything. He was feeding people like everybody, and he was famous for that. So when they announced the yajna that I want to wish you the yajna, naturally you have to call brahmanas for dakshina, correct? For doing rituals, you have to call them. Unless you are famous, nobody will come to you. Or unless you are, you are in the same line of, if you're karma kandi and if you are doing karma, those people will come to you. If you are a brahmagyani or atma jnana following there, the karma kandi will not come there because you have got no work there. You will get bored. So you will not be doing those things. And when the person says, why are you not inviting me? He says, I do not have any interest in kama karmas. I do nishakama karmas. Oh, so automatically the connection will get dispersed. But here, he was always doing dharma, karyam, inviting people, giving away dhanam, etc. A lot of karmas with that. A lot of punyam he had got. And because the punyam is got, you want more punyam. So to go to Indra Loka or this Loka, you have to have a lot of punyam. You cannot have any papam at all. The Indras, etc., they don't have papam. That's why they are called devas. We pray to them. Why? Because they don't have any papam. We have got mixture of punya and papam. This is Manishya. We are in this Loka. Otherwise, you would also be devas. So he wanted to be a deva. So Vajamannam tad dhanati nimittam Shravo yasho yasya sa Vajashravo Ruditova. So he was very famous. Rudito means famous or well known for. Then Tasya apatyam Vajashravasaha kila Vishwajita Sarva Medhena Ije Tatphalam Kamaya Manaha. So this Tasya Apatya. So this Vajashrava had a child, Apatyaha, and his main aim was Khila means indeed Vishwajita, to conquer the world or to conquer and attain Svargaloka. Sarva Medhena means what? All the yajnas. So he was doing all the yajnas required. So not one yajna. See, Vishwajit yajna is supposed to be several yajnas you have to do. It's not one big yajna where you just do so many things. So from what the text says, that Sarva Medhena what means all different yajnas. So one has to keep on doing yajna after yajna after yajna after yajna. So one will finish, another will finish. So it is like a lengthy, rituals which are there. So obviously he knew about this. We don't know about it, but he was doing that. So let him do that. So we just study. So ije means what? Desire. So tatphalam, the result or what he resulted was kamaya manaha. So he was desirous of this result, tatphalam. So he wanted the fruit of the yajna, and thereby he was doing sarva medhena, all yajna, which is the culmination or the combination of all the yajna put together is called Vishwajit yajna. Okay. And he had a putraha. So tasya apatyam Vajashravasaha kila. So kila means indeed. So indeed this person had a child and he was doing all the yajnas which was equivalent to Vishwajit yajna, with the result, with the desire of going to Svargaloka. Then sa tasmin kratho sarva vedasam sarvasam dhanam dadhau dattavan. So he, in the process of doing the yajna, the kratho means the performer. The performer or the doer of the yajna is kratho. And what did he do? Sarva vedasam sarvasvam. So sarvasvam itself means all. And sarva vedasam is an adjective for sarvasvam. So all means anything a person had has to be given away. See, you cannot go to Sargaloka with saying that I will have a property here, and if I don't like Indraloka, I'll come back. No, because you'll have to die. You'll have to leave the physical body and you'll have to take up another body in some other form. Because Devaloka also, supposing somebody wants to go to Devaloka, see, I mean, I do not know, I have not gone there, and nobody has gone and come and told me also how it looks like. We are not interested. But if somebody is interested to know, so I tell them, you go and see first and come and let me know how it is. So Devalokam, for going there, you'll have to, it's like, if you want to go move a location from here, you cannot leave things here. You'll have to relocate. So relocation, what? You either sell property, all the old things, you take what is required and then you go. Or you give away everything and then sannyasa, you just go. Same thing here also. So sarva vedasam dadhav means sarvasvam, all. You cannot take anything to go to Sargaloka. There will be different wealth will be there. You will get there. So Dadav Dattavan. Dattavan means the person who is the giver. Dattavan, Gunavan, Kirtiman, all Van, etc. means Dattavan. Means the person who was actually the donator is called Dattavan. Tasya, I will finish in just 2-3 minutes. Tasya Yajamanasya ha Nachiketa nama putra khila asa bhabuva. So kila asa means indeed he had, and bhabuva means an adjective for kila asa. So bhabuva means what existed or he had. So bhabuva is the adjective for the word kila asa, means he indeed had. What did he have? Nachiketa nama putraha. So he had a putra, Nachikema putraha. And who was he? He was tasya yajamanasya. So he was the yajamanan or the person who was doing the yajna, and he had a putra called Nachiketa, and he had this. So this is what is being elaborated in Bhashyam. So with this, I'm going to stop today. Now we are going into the next verse, which is number 1.1.2. I'll give a brief summary and then we'll just conclude it. Here actually the story starts because the Nachiketa is the putra there, and he's watching the ritual of the father was doing. He's a very young boy, and naturally he is watching, and something he feels that it may not be right, or my father is doing such a big yajna, I have to support him, and I have to tell him that something may be right, not right. So should I tell him or not tell him? So he goes through some process of thinking to say what should be said to him. So that is being revealed in the next 2 mantras, which will go through the next class. Is it clear? Hope you are fresh from the break, and this was a nice, easy lecture compared to the other lectures, which is all. So this is very easy because you are in the story now, and through the story, the vision is being emphasized. See, what we must learn here is the story itself is not important. The story, what does it convey to us? Each and every word conveys a message. So the message is being to be understood by the adhikari to say that, oh, this is all this. So we must not do this. We must not be like this. So we must leave this. So that is what is conveyed here. So which will go to the next class. Any questions from anyone today? You are all okay? Shankar Mama, you're okay? They will follow?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Umaji, you're okay? Uma, all good? Okay. Radhaji, you're fine as well? So we'll stop here and we'll meet next class again. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। नमस्ते। शुभरात्रि to all of you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you.